I feel incredibly stupid right now. I feel like a fucking idiot. Why do I need to talk about, like, this doesn't matter. It's not real. So I feel really, really stupid and self-conscious, but then also really nervous. Um, so yeah, okay. I haven't even said what this is about. So, in my head so much. So yeah, last week after a big fight with my partner, I like slapped myself. Like, it was just an okay. I don't know, like my partner and I have been together for like 7 years, so like they like know this about me. Although it's actually like really fucked up because they didn't for the longest time. And like the night that they found out that I self-harm was the night we moved in together. And I didn't even mean to do it that way. It was like entirely an accident because like I don't think to tell people. Like when I'm doing fine and I'm not self-harming, I just like don't tell people because it doesn't matter because I'm not doing it. One of the ways that I tend to think about it is it's more like addiction because like I've had people before like ask me to stop and like I'm like, okay, I promise I'll never do it again. I've like written it in like journals and shit and like it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And then I hurt myself and I do it. And I'm worse than I was if I hadn't promised because like now I know I'm a shit person. Like I hit myself because I thought I was a shit person, but because I hit myself and I promised that I wouldn't, I know I'm a shit person. It's just, so my partner didn't know and we moved in together, and just because of the whole moving process and we were both figuring shit out, we had a fight. And like I just banged my head against the wall. And I just kept doing it. And they never, ever, ever knew that I did this. I didn't say it. They'd never seen it. Like, I'm not a cutter. I don't cut myself. Which I don't know, like, which also makes it seem less valid. I don't cut myself, so I'm a chicken shit. So it's not enough. It's not real. I'm also really good, because so like, my particular brand of self-harm is impact. It's like, I bang my head on a lot of shit. I slap myself. I'll like, if I'm feeling kind of like I can restrain myself, I'll just bang my hand on something, you know? But I'm also really good at not like, one, I don't really bruise super easily. But so like, it doesn't like show up a lot. And like, I know when I'm doing it, there's that fine line of like, if you continue doing this, you might break your skin. It might become more real than it is and people might be able to tell. And like because I have that line and I can navigate it so well, like it doesn't actually feel like it's valid because it's like, well, you're not actually hurting yourself that bad. It's fine. If it was that bad, people would know. Like my sister, I lived with my sister till I was 25, like on and off, and she knew that I had struggled with self-harm in the past. But even like we moved to California together and we like lived in the same apartment for like 6 years together. And this is when we're adults. And that entire time, like, when I would self-harm, and she didn't know about it. I told her like 2 years after we moved apart or something that I was still self-harming because she thought I hadn't been anymore. She thought it was an old thing that I did, but I don't do. And like that's the thing is like I can stop it and I stop for a while. Like the only way that I've ever found that I can successfully manage it is to just actually like realize that I'm never going to not do this. Like I will always self-harm at some point. And because like I can think of it that way, I don't blame myself for doing it, and it doesn't become another burden that makes me want to go even harder or farther. And so I think that's one of the things that like my partner and I have had to go through and navigate is like when I self-harm, they don't ever try to stop me. And because they don't do anything, because they're not trying to stop me, it doesn't make it worse. Like I had an ex who was a really sweet guy, but like he tried to like restrain me, and it would make me like fight harder and want to hit harder because now I have to like get through his restraint. And like it just spiraled and built up and it just made it actually worse. And so like my partner right now, we've gone through that and they just sit there and wait for me to stop. And when I do stop, they ask if they can touch me. And if I say yes, they do. And if I say no, they don't. And they just, it's kind of like you can't stop a fucking hurricane. You just wait and then you see what you can do to make it better afterwards. And that's like the only way that I've really been able to like manage it, because like I self-harm less than I ever did in my life. And I think the key to that is that I can acknowledge this is a thing that's always going to happen. So I can take precautions, and I have a partner who can respect those boundaries. Like, I've been self-harming as long as I remember. I've never not self-harmed. Like, even like my earliest memories, like as a kid, I would, like my mom and my sister would like have a fight, and I would know it was my fault for some reason, and I would bang my head against the wall, I would tear my hair out, I would like hurt myself until they stopped. Like explicitly, the very first time I went into foster care, it was because my mom wasn't okay and she wasn't able to take care of us, so I went to live with my aunt, who had 2 children about my age. And living with my aunt, I self-harmed enough to where her children started to self-harm to copy me. And she couldn't handle it. And I wasn't like hurting them and they weren't hurting me, but like seeing me do that, they started to replicate it. And so she asked the state to put me in foster care. And I don't blame my aunt at all. Like, you can't, like, how do you get this 3-year-old who just can't, I mean, I don't even know, like, I can't even imagine what I would do, and I'm like the one who's done it for all these years, and I don't know how to not, but I also don't talk about it, like, people don't know, like, I've done I've done videos talking about my experiences with my mom and schizophrenia and anxiety, and I'm very open about this, but I explicitly don't tell people that I self-harm. I mentioned it once and I edited it out because I just didn't feel comfortable with it. And like, I don't know. I think I don't talk about it because I don't feel like it's valid. Like, I don't know, like, I already, like, have this base level of, like, nothing I do matters. If what I'm doing isn't bringing in money or acknowledged in a larger society, then it doesn't actually matter. And so, like, you see that, especially with self-harm in media, self-harm is a certain thing. It's a very specific thing, and I don't do that, so nothing I do actually counts as self-harm. And I don't know, because if anybody else, literally anybody else told me this, I'd be like, no, you're dismissing how you actually feel, and this isn't okay to do, and I'm here to tell you that your feelings and emotions and what you do, they're valid. The fact that you do this is a valid form of this, whatever, you know, it's a valid form of the thing, but I can't give myself that at all, because somebody has it worse. It's just like, once I've stopped slapping myself and once I feel like fine, and once it's like a week after I've had a fight with my partner and I hit myself, I'm like, it's fine. I didn't do anything. I don't know. I feel like this video or something should be closure, but that's like not going to happen.